Hello there and welcome. My name's Roxana and I'm the owner of Hannah's Room. We're a small family-run business that specialises in batik fabrics, and today we're going to be making a rag wreath. We're using those batik fabrics. We've got some examples to the side of us. They're a nice no-sew project, so anybody can achieve them, and they come together really quickly. Because of the batiks as well, you don't get a right or wrong side to any of these fabrics, so that it gets a nice colour range all the way through the rag wreath, so you don't have to worry about any of the whites on the backing of the fabric coming through. The more you play with them, the more textured they feel, and they're just a lovely finish. You can do them in lots of different colourways depending on what your Christmas theme is this year. They're just a really nice addition to any kind of Christmas fabrics that you've got or Christmas decorations that you want to create. So we're going to make a rag wreath, and the way we do this is we take a wreath ring like this. It's a normal floral wreath ring, and we're going to start adding fabrics to it literally by just tying them around the wreath ring. There's no special equipment that you need. You don't have to have any sewing machine or anything like that. It literally is any scraps that you've kind of created throughout your projects that you have in the stash. They can be long ones, short ones, lots of different colours. These here, I've got them in the beautiful Christmas colours, so reds and greens and some red and whites in there. And you literally just take these strips of fabric, pull them from the pile, and you're going to start tying them around this wreath ring in a knot. So around both of the wires, make sure that one side is a short end so that you get maximum use out of all your scraps. Tie this around into a knot once and then twice. And there's no right or wrong with the length of this because we're going to trim them back, so don't be too worried about the length of the strips, as long as you can get them around both hoops and then tied in a knot there. Then just choose another colour. So this time I'm going to add a plain red. Again, with it being a batik, there's no right or wrong side, so you can see there both sides are the same. It gives you a nice overall colour. Wrapping that around, tying it in a knot. So we go once and then twice, making sure it's nice and tight, and then you can just squash those up a little bit. And as you can see, it's starting to colour, so you add in another colour. So we're going to go for a dark one this time. Just goes underneath, back on itself, and then tying that nice and tight. Don't worry about the colour order. You can be specific with the colour order if you want to. You can follow a set routine of colour, but I think they look better if you just kind of add them any old how in a random order. It gives you a nice blast of different colours then. Go for a dark one. This one's a really nice deep kind of colour here. So underneath. This is a really good project if you want to do this with children, maybe grandchildren or little ones coming up to the holiday period. They can make their own Christmas decoration. It's just a really fun, easy project to do, something you can pick up and put down without having to worry about any kind of machines, sewing machines or needles or anything like that. Now we're going to add in a little bit of green. Here we go. So underneath, over the top, once, and then twice. And as you can see, those colours really start to build up. Okay, and then once you've got a few on, I tend to add lots of the strips, so I kind of go a quarter of the way around, and then you just take a pair of scissors and you can then chop off the longer lengths. And again, you don't have to be precise with this, you just chop them off. And if you've got any of these bits on this side that are a bit long, you can just take those right down as well. So we take them back, just so they're kind of even, but not too worried about it. Move those little pieces out the way, and then you can squish them up to see how much coverage you've got and just fluff them. So the more you play around with it, the better they actually look. So here you can see I've added lots of the different strips, and we've got about, I would say, a good quarter of the way around this hoop. And the more you squash them up and play with them and move the knots so that they're in different positions, as you can see, some of the knots are up here, some of the knots are down there, and you really will start to fill this out. And the more you move it, the better. And another thing with the batiks, because the thread count is slightly higher, these are not fraying, so you're not getting lots of mess underneath the hoop. They're all going to stay pretty much intact like this. They're just going to give you lots of nice, soft, feathery texture to these. So you keep on adding them around, squashing them up as you go. Be careful on the bits where you have the joins, because obviously they might have a sharp edge and you might not be able to move them in, so you might want to squash up to that point and then fill in between. So if I just add a couple more, we'll go for a dark red. You can just see I haven't stuck to any pattern with this. It is just whatever colour I feel it needs next. And you can do them in lots of different colourways as well, and they look really stunning. This one is the Christmassy one, indicative with the reds and greens and whites. But if your colour scheme is silver and kind of blues, you can do that. It's no problem at all. They look equally as beautiful no matter what colour. So there we go. And it literally is just a case of keep going with that all the way around, squashing them up nice and tight against each other, adding them in, then chopping the really long bits back so that they match. You can be as nice and neat with it, or you can just be really scrappy with it and kind of bush it around. So once you've filled your hoop with the amount of fabric that you want and you're happy with how the textures are looking, you can add in a nice little bit of decoration. So here I've chosen a normal tree decoration, and I've swapped out the normal hanging thread for a lovely bit of ribbon, and thought that gives it a nice finish. And all you need to do then is part the fabric where you can see the hoop, put the ribbon around, tie it in whichever knot you prefer. Just a nice easy knot there. Again, you can choose whichever colour suits your colour scheme for the Christmas period. Pull that nice and tight so that it's secured. And if you move that down, you then have this lovely decoration, which when I hold it up, it will hang down in the centrepiece for you just there. Thank you ever so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it and been inspired. Take care. Bye bye.